Our team noticed torus fields depicted in ancient cave drawings. These spirals show up in caves all around the world, always next to strange alien beings. These beings must have come through the spirals, not from a spacecraft. The Nazi SS built a torus field device called Die Glocke, reported to be the most costly weapon of World War II. It was rumored to be the decisive weapon. Can a powerful torsion field open a rift in space-time continuum? We built this to find out. Then put it on this, the Nautilus. When our device was turned on, it did this. We moved the Nautilus out to the middle of Tampa Bay for protection and then turned on the torsion device for exactly 1 hour. When we returned to the shoreline, we knew immediately we were not in our own timeline. Soon we learned of a spaceport in Orlando just a few minutes away. The names of places and things were different. It was the Disney spaceport. We took the Skyline up 120 miles to the Disney SkyTel. It is the same year here as base time, but you could see that this timeline was at least 100 years ahead of ours. This was completely unexpected. The SkyTel has very advanced amenities, so this is where we will base our expedition.
The brain about 5 weeks ago. We're on the other side here on track 2 right now, and man, you would not believe what's going on this side of this thing. Can't wait to show it to you.
I don't know what that just was we just saw there. That wasn't me, or at least yet it wasn't me. We've been here for 2 weeks, not 5 weeks, so where that's coming from, we have no idea. It seems to be popping up now and then. We have a working theory. We think that it's a quantum entanglement issue. The other me is here doing this right now, very close by in a parallel universe, and it's bleeding into our system somehow. Very interesting, kind of annoying, but we'll be dealing with it as we go along. Anyway, welcome to this edition of the ATLANTIUM. We got a very, very good program for you, and if you're looking at this right now, then that means that we were successful at some point in getting back to our home base. Obviously, we tried to figure out a way to send back this information while we were still here, and there just isn't any way. This parallel universe is completely separate from our own, and we took the Nautilus out into the open water so that there wouldn't be anything around us because we didn't want to bump into anything. And we turned it on for an hour, and when we came back to shore, this is where we are in this amazing environment. We are in the same year as we are back home, but this civilization is 100 or more years ahead of ours. They have the most tremendous world that you can possibly imagine. Everything is amazing. So we decided to camp here for a while at the Disney Sky Hotel. That's hard to get used to. Disney instead of Disney. Everything is a little different here. The words are a little different. The way they're spelled is a little different. There's at least a 10% difference between the way that things happen here and the way that things happen back home. Maybe even greater. This was highly unexpected. We didn't think that if we crushed the brain or moved across the brain, the membrane that separates our world from this one, that we would have this much difference. The assumption was that it would be slightly different, and that if you kept crossing brains moving from one universe to another, then it would completely be different. Of course, we don't have any way to know how many brains we've crossed. All we did was turn on the machine for 1 hour. We may have crossed a number of timelines. We have no way to know. Obviously, if you're looking at this, we made it back home. Our concept was we're going to take the device and run it backwards for the same amount of time that we ran it forwards, and keep our fingers crossed and hopefully end up back home where we started from. So we'll see how that goes. One of the main reasons we decided we wanted to hang out here was because of the amazing K, Quantum Artificial Intelligence, QAI, and they call it K. It's sort of like Siri back home, I guess, except on steroids. K is a quantum-based artificial intelligence system, and it covers the whole planet, and it's an amazing type of internet and database. I got a screen capture here, I'll show you. I asked Kay to look into the issue of aliens mining our moon, and she's processing the information, and she will create a report on her own. They call her. It's a machine. And she will deliver this report, and it'll contain all the information that's known about that subject in the K database. And we've been working on that for quite a while. We felt that would be the easiest way to generate reports to take back home about this environment. The best thing that we have seen so far is the ability of K to weave together an amazing dramatic story using video. It's just tremendous, and you're going to get a chance to see it right here. We took a look at a lot of information and kind of just distilled it down into a bite-sized production, but we're going to run it now and let you see how it looks. It's pretty amazing. Here is aliens mining our moon. The moon, enigmatic, omnipresent, ancient companion. Our moon, is it truly ours? Do Earthmen own the moon? Is it our birthright? The answer is no. Someone or something has taken complete ownership of our moon, and it doesn't look like we have much say in the matter. Recent video and still images of artifacts of advanced technology and structures on the moon continue to surface. NASA, an adjunct of the U.S. military, has sent reconnaissance satellites, both public and secret, to the moon and has leaked unintentional photos of these artifacts. The vast majority of the millions of images taken since the 1960s has been painstakingly removed or airbrushed out of existence. The U.S. military now call these alien moon miners the Delta, and they are very much involved in the monitoring of their progress. In the mid-1990s, NASA and the U.S. Department of Defense sent these images of an immense vehicle back to Earth. Researchers discovered these jarring images among the thousands of Project Clementine photos taken during the mission. The Clementine mission was undertaken to observe the Delta. Our expert photo software artists developed techniques to strip blurs added by NASA. Under the obfuscation, you can see a terrifying Delta mining barge, a dozen times larger than anything ever made by humankind. Even photos of the Delta themselves, or them in protective suits, were photographed. If a machine 2 miles long big enough to land a 747 on its roof, is what they use for mining, then what does their war machines look like? Just got a visit from the hotel security, and they said that some agents from the called the Federicos, Section 6, they are in charge of suppression and using K in the wrong manner, I guess. They was really curious as to what we were up to, and we told them that we were documentary filmmakers, and reason why we were asking questions about the Delta. Seems the Delta are a very prickly issue with these folks, and rightfully so. They found out a lot about these creatures that live on the moon that we don't know nothing about, and it has changed the entire timeline and future of this civilization, and we're going to show you in many ways how this has been done. I'm standing in front of the K terminal right now, and we've been asking a lot of questions about a lot of different subjects, and the answers that are coming back are just mind-bending, to say the least. And I hope we have a chance to create some more reports about some more subjects as we go along. But there's a lot to say about the Delta, and I think that this report, when we get back home finally, will be very eye-opening to a lot of folks. So let's pick this back up and let Kay show us the rest of the episode. You are looking at the first U.S. president to meet with a delegation of an extraterrestrial race. Dwight D. Eisenhower, the 34th president, met with Cardinal Francis McIntyre from Los Angeles and a group of ETs known as the Aryans or Nordics that were stationed at a base under the ice in Antarctica. The meeting was held at Muroc Air Force Base in California in 1954 in a hangar on the field. The Aryans warned the president about an aggressive race of beings living on our moon. They called them the Igigi and said they migrated from Mars thousands of years ago. The Aryans warned the president not to provoke them. The Aryans knew the U.S. was preparing rockets to take satellites to the moon, and it would be evident there were beings mining the moon. Shortly after this meeting, President Eisenhower formed the National Aeronautic and Space Administration. NASA is directly under the executive branch and was to be cloaked military operations for the purpose of monitoring the Delta. The military preferred this term over the Igigi, their real name. Eisenhower passed the information he learned of the Delta to his successor, John F. Kennedy, in 1961. As he was sworn into office, Kennedy commissioned a study to be prepared by the Brookings Institute that looked into the impact finding advanced alien life would have on the public. Kennedy got his answer, and it wasn't good. Satellites sent to the moon in the early 1960s were sending back some startling images. Huge buildings, massive domed cities, and the Delta themselves could be seen in the grainy photos. President Kennedy was locked in a Cold War battle with the Soviet Union and was desperate to beat them in a race to the moon. But he knew they couldn't actually land on the moon and faced the potential reprisal from the Delta. So a plan was formed to keep the astronauts in orbit above the moon and create a filmed surrogate for the descent and moon landing sequences. This filmed version would be sent through the video feed at the needed time. This would create the impression of a moon landing without the risk of stirring up a fight with the Delta. Apollo 18, a secret U.S. military mission to the moon launched in July of 1979, almost 10 years after Apollo 11. This time, a new advanced lander made it to the moon's surface and landed near the crater where the Delta Leviathan sets.
Okay, Charlie Brown and Snoop, 3 minutes going over the hill. Your go for undocking, and we'll see you around the other side. Roger. Roger.
The crew were tasked with collecting as much intel as they could on the Delta. Turns out the Delta were watching them. Where did the Delta come from? Who are these beings? followers of King Anu from the planet Nibiru arrived to Earth. The Anu homeworld is a large planet that circles a brown dwarf star called Nemesis, our sun's companion star. The technologically advanced spacefaring race wants to mine strategic metals for use on Nibiru. Inke, the son of Anu, is given complete authority over the planet Earth and the mining operations to be built. The Anu set up a highly productive mining operation and decide to establish a processing and redistribution center on Mars. A highly trained faction of engineers from Nibiru called the Igigi are called upon to travel to Mars and build a base for processing and refueling ships that transport the finished minerals back to Nibiru. The Igigi build cities, bases, and a grand subway system capable of transporting crews and goods around Mars. After many years, the Igigi called on Inke, the supreme commander of Earth, to relieve them and allow them to travel to Earth. Inke denied their requests, and this led to a war that ended in the total destruction of Mars by Inke. He sent the arrows of God to Mars, some sort of nuclear weapons powerful enough to eject Mars' atmosphere into space and poison the ground with radiation. The Igigi escaped in their space vessels and headed to Earth and the Moon. Most of the Igigi sought shelter on the Moon, while a number of them made it to Earth. The Igigi landed in North America and built major cities in what is now Central and South America. They fought continuously with American Indians for territory and were known by the Indians as the Men from the Moon. The Indians spoke of their great magic and unworldly abilities. The ancient Indian legend of the giants from the moon states that a great flood and fire consumed them, leaving only the remains of their great cities. The secret Apollo 18 mission was highly successful in documenting the activities of the Delta. The Apollo crew filmed mining bases, large spacecraft, and the Delta themselves. Less than 24 hours after their arrival on the moon's surface, the Delta paid the lunar lander a visit. Two 14-foot humanoid figures in advanced protective suits approached the lander. They were waving their arms and making gestures to move out, get away. This was very intimidating to the crew members, wasting no time in preparing the lander for a return to the command module orbiting above. The Apollo 18 crew was debriefed by a military tribunal at the Pentagon in Washington, D.C. that had oversight of the secret lunar mission. The Oversight Committee looked at all the reports, photos, and videos that were captured during the mission by the Apollo crew. It was determined that all information regarding this mission would be marked top secret and would require eyes-only classification. The Pentagon brass ordered a report be created that would be used to brief the President and the intelligence agencies. One portion of the brief included a scenario revealing how contact with the Delta here on Earth might look. The military has not returned to the moon's surface since Apollo 18 mission in 1979, but has placed highly sophisticated satellites with advanced camera systems to monitor the Delta. This effort has given industry and military engineers a stockpile of potential advanced innovations based on Delta technology. There is most likely contact between humans and the Delta at the highest levels, but there remains no official comment on this, or any other acknowledgement of the Delta.
Holding on to everything. It's been a long time. I know it has. Hold on to everything. On the shoreline. On the shoreline. I don't know if we'll make it there. Lots of long between. I'll keep it close at hand. How long can we wait till the end? I know it's far away, pretend. On the shoreline. On the shoreline. I know it's hard to find a little peace of mind. Hold on.